Hey everybody, this is Giuseppe with Forget About It News, and I'm here with my boy Brian.
What up?
And we got some crazy stuff to talk about tonight. But before we get started on that, we just wanted to say thank you for all the love we're getting. We see all the comments. We're loving the comments.
Appreciate it.
Both of us are answering the comments. Sometimes it's him, sometimes it's me.
Yep.
But we're answering them as quickly as we can. We're really thankful for them. We love the feedback.
Guys.
And actually, this video, and I don't know exactly what comment it is, and I'm sorry, but tomorrow's video, I'll make sure I give you a shout out. One of the comments on one of the videos we played, someone brought up the video of Judge Joe Brown, and I had already saw the video, but when they mentioned it, it made me think, man, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, it's devastating.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, he crushes her in this.
Absolutely. And so we want to dedicate this video. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The person who commented in our video about Judge Joe Brown, this video is for you. Thank you. And we're going to be giving away some Trump gear.
All right.
So we got this cool Trump shirt. I'm wearing it tonight. Check it out.
What sizes do we have?
I think we have extra large, large, and medium.
Okay. Medium.
Okay.
Yeah, medium, large, and extra large.
Okay.
All right, so there's one.
That's for the guys.
Okay, that's for the guys.
And
Throw
then
the other one
for
up
the
there.
chicks, this is a super cool shirt for the chicks.
Let's check it out.
Read what it says.
All right, I'm still a Trump girl. I make no apologies.
I'm still a Trump girl. I make no apologies.
All right, cool.
Okay. We're going to be giving 2 of those shirts away next week. All you have to do to be entered to win the shirt is to subscribe, like, comment on this video, and share this video on social media, on Facebook. You take a picture of it shared onto your Facebook and email it to us at forgetaboutitnews@gmail.com. And it is spelled exactly how our channel name is. You email a picture of it with your first, last name, your address, and your email address. And on Monday next week, we are going to pick 1 female winner and 1 male winner, and we are going to cover the shipping and everything, and we're going to mail these awesome, badass shirts off to you for free.
Yeah, another thing. So we need to tell them our email address. Will it be in this? We'll put it in the description.
Well, it's forgetaboutitnews@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. But we will put it in the description, so you'll be able to just put it into your email, and then because we need your first and last name, your email, and your address.
Free merch, baby.
Yep.
And so what we're going to do is we're not going to wait. We're going to get right into this because this is a pretty long
What do we got?
video.
What do we got?
It's a video of Judge Joe Brown talking about Donald Trump. And I'm not going to talk about what's in the video because you're going to hear it for yourself.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and pull this up, get it going. This is really juicy stuff. You got to watch this. It's crazy.
All right.
How do you feel about the people that feel like Trump is racist?
Yeah, see, I can remember one time I went on to a conference in New York. I was a state judge. It's been 30-some years ago. And some people I knew were there, and they said, hey, let's go check out some of the clubs. I said, okay. I hadn't been to a New York club, and damn. So we go. So there's this tall white guy coming in, and all the brothers hanging around with him. But he doesn't have a bodyguard. He just walks in on his own, and he sits down and, he's glad-handing and in the animated conversation with everybody. So who the hell is that? Oh, he's a billionaire we got around here. Dude's name is Trump. Trump Towers. Oh, yeah, that's the dude that owns it. Oh, he hanging with the homeboys. So he's dated black women before, like the woman he always showed up with on the red carpet thing. She was one fine model right before his current wife. I wasn't present, but I had 3 clients back in the 1980s, business clients, who, when I took the bench, I kind of left them in the lurch because I couldn't continue to represent them, but they got other counsel, and their problem was getting finance for their business. Well, 25 years later, I run into them separately. They don't know each other. They might, I don't know, but I didn't put them together. Question. Did you ever get that loan or that finance to get your business? Yeah. Well, what happened? Who'd you get it from? I got it from Donald Trump. And You know, not only did they get the finance, they tell a tale that, well, I don't mean know if it's a tale, but the story is when they get.
I got to stop this right here. So here's Judge Joe Brown straight up saying Donald Trump dated black women.
Yeah, right here.
He dated black women.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And not only did he date black women, what else did he say? Just now he was talking.
Well, he's talking about how some of his friends needed some financing.
African American.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump gave him financing.
I think that's what he's about to explain. Yeah,
absolutely. That's what
yeah. So let's go back and roll the video. Yep.
That's crazy.
Gave him the term check. He asked them if they were happy with what they were doing. Were they satisfied? He said, "This is what I'm supposed to get." Yeah, and he tore the contract up, tore the check up. Said, "My gift to you." You know, Jesse Jackson ran for U.S. president twice. Donald Trump provided his headquarters across the country and raised money for him to finance his run. That isn't too bad.
And then attacks him.
So what are they talking about? See, remember that thing about tell a lie long enough and loud enough? The real problem is he's not into the rainbow cult thing. He's not an acolyte, disciple, follower, or such like. He's not into the unicorn, so he's an enemy. He also is staunchly into the manhood thing. Well, he said he grabbed some. Well, you know, I mean, he's talking to folk in a locker room. Some punk wants to go snitch on him. That's a punk play. You know, that's like somebody saying, "Baby, you know, I really love you, and that man you're with, he ain't good for you. He runs around on you." You know, that kind of punk play. So when somebody's pulling that off, I'm not going to look down on him. And as a matter of fact, my first mother-in-law had a beauty salon for years. And I used to go down there and run errands for her, and I'd sit there and listen to the ladies, and I'm going, "Oh, wow, man, this is crude stuff up in here. Damn." You know, the ladies are worse than the guys when it comes to not locker room talk, but beauty salon talk. So I'm going, whoa.
Yeah, so he's talking about when Trump said grab him by the pussy or something in the locker room. But here's the thing about that. First of all, men talk like that all the time. That's just locker room talk. Women, and I know firsthand, just being around women, man, especially after a couple glasses of wine, boy.
Oh, they're telling everything.
They say everything way worse than men.
Man, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. All right.
Oh, damn. Wish I'd known this years ago. Hey, it's some, damn.
But one thing I would ask you though, how you feel about Trump saying that he want to get a police immunity?
It's what you have to understand what he's saying. Immunity is immunity, but it's qualified. In other words, if you're doing your job, okay. But if you ain't doing your job, it ain't okay. Like, for example, right here in Memphis, there's a case where 5 black cops got indicted for beating this guy to death, right? He had Crohn's disease, Tyree Nichols. So if it had been police randomly stopping a random citizen, that's one thing. But the point is the allegations is that the victim was screwing the baby mama of one cop, screwing the wife of another cop, and trying to screw a third cop's wife. So they found him, told him to back off. He wouldn't, so they went looking for him to beat his behind, which they did. But he had Crohn's disease and he died of the after effects. Now, that's the story in the streets. So is that cop action? No, that's all personal. That has nothing to do with an immunity situation. The argument doesn't even come in because it didn't have anything to do with police work. You got a problem with your personal life and somebody hacking into your women, you see. Now, that's the difference. See, what you saw do, this guy would not have gotten any of that immunity. Now, the immunity comes in like there's an armed robbery in progress. This dude's firing shots, and he shot 2 people working the liquor store. The cop shows up, shoots him, and the family says, "Why didn't you just shoot my baby in the leg instead of killing him?" Well, that would be immunity because the guy's acting in the line of duty, you see. So that's like why you have the castle doctrine. Castle doctrine has been the law for the longest period of time, but it wasn't codified. It was more common law. So what was happening, it literally a case in one state was like this. A guy did a home invasion armed, and the homeowner was on the second floor in the bedroom, got his gun. And what went on is the homeowner was at the top of the stairs. The burglar is halfway up the staircase. They each fired a shot at each other. The burglar falls down and breaks his leg and sues the homeowner. Well, to clear that up so the homeowner wouldn't get sued by this guy for having a broken leg that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't burglarized the house, wouldn't have been shot at if he hadn't had a gun in his hand, they've codified as castle doctrine. You're on your own when you break off in somebody's house. Absolutely. So that gives the homeowner immunity. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, so just right down here in Polk County where we're at, that's the same thing. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. You ours is more known as stand your ground. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out
Absolutely.
there. You know how it works down
it's
here.
It's the same concept. You go in someone's home.
Right.
They have the right to shoot you dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They do.
When you break into somebody's house, what are they supposed to do? Excuse me, sir. Are you armed and dangerous?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you please go out the door?
Can you show me
stop.
if you have a
Can you go back in the
weapon?
garage? Like, what are you supposed to say?
Fuck out of here. Forget about it.
Yeah. Forget about it.
It's a good one.
Now, if you say you broke into my house and I'm tired of this is the second time, and they do say, all right, man, call the police, I surrender. No, I'm gonna kill you. Bam, bam, bam. See, that's not exactly what time it is, you know.
I'm happy you clearing that up, because when I was told that, they was making it seem like, you know, Trump, he was giving the police permission to kill black people anytime they want, you know, so that's how they was making it seem. So, yeah, I'm happy you clearing that up, man.
No. And see, he'll call a cop a coward. Remember that thing where that guy flagged down what turned out to be a female cop because she had a road problem and he was trying to get help and she shot him to death? Trump called her a coward, which is what she was. So, you know, he'll call it like he sees it. And that thing they're talking about the Park 5 up in New York, well, it isn't that the police beat this guy, did a third degree on him. One of them's father brought the boy down and said, my son confessed to this. He needs to tell you what he did. So his daddy brought him down, and the boy confessed to the police, not the police beat it out of him. And when all the rest of them confessed, you know, it's not like they saying they did it and nobody's saying we had nothing to do with it. It was a pretty horrible crime. I mean, it was a bad crime, the Central Park 5. So in my perspective, many a time I've had this happen, we have a motion to suppress a so-called confession, okay? It's taped. So I've got a setting where myself as the judge, the prosecutor, and the defense lawyer, we're going to go to my chambers with the court reporter, and we're going to look at the tape recording of the confession. This guy is in my courtroom. He's an OG. Yeah, man, I'm down with posse, man. You know, like I'm holding firm, man. They lying, trying to put a case on me, man. You know, like I ain't done nothing, man. You know, yeah. And I'm, you know, we're on recess and he's talking over the barrier. So no big deal. The lawyer gets back from an appearance in federal court. I said, Counselor, you ready? All right. Madam Court Reporter, can you set up in chambers in the next 10 minutes? Okay. Call the court back to order. Court's in session. Remain seated. All right. Counsel for defense is returned to court from, we will take a brief recess, and we will attend to listening to the tape pursuant to a defense motion to suppress the statement. You go back there, and OG, he's in there, and the cops are saying, young man, this is a serious offense. You need to get yourself a lawyer. You have an absolute right to have a lawyer. You have Miranda rights, and they read them to him. You go, I don't want your lawyer. I want to talk to my mama. You let me talk to my mama. I'll tell you anything you want, sir. Your mama's not an attorney. We can't let her in. I want to talk to my mama. Yeah, pass him some Kleenex, John. I don't want my mama. And he's crying, snot running all down his face, and he just got through leaving him being a badass of in your courtroom, talking about, yeah, man, the OG hanging tough, man. They lying. Man, you want me, man, I tell you what you want, man. We stomp, man, shot down, man. They the ones did it, man. They just made me do this, man. I had nothing to do it. I swear to God, man, I want my mama. You say, you, damn. But the story that comes out on the streets is they whipped this dude and they falsely put a confession on him. You look at this punk. And I say, oh, by the way, let's see, these individuals have testified to reduce bond. Let's see, I believe one known as Short Dog is Stomp and Lil Earl. Take them into custody. The other parties that were unidentified heretofore and committing as accomplices in this crime were identified by the defendant, who informed the police of who his accomplices were. So take them into custody, no bond to be set. Man, what? You know, take them into custody. Man, you told on us? Well, it seems he did. Come on. Process him. See, OG Gangster is a punk. He's crying for his mama, but that isn't the story that comes out. Or you represent somebody before that. I was a pretty good criminal defense lawyer. You know, I won a whole lot of jury trials. So you listening to your client. Yeah, man, my lawyer and I, we paid off the DA, man. You know, it was $50K, man. Fool, quit lying. You were in a car asleep in the back. There were 5 of you riding heavy in the car, and I got you off for insufficient connection with the one joint they found in the ashtray. What the hell are you talking about? Don't tell that lie. See, I mean, they tell all kinds of stuff that goes on about trying to make themselves look good. Or, I wasn't even there, mama. They lying on me. They just trying to put on case, man. I wasn't even there. I got an alibi. Fool, you know you are lying. You know what your client has told you. Man, dude lying, man, I wasn't there. Well, I mean, he went to high school with you. 4 other people went to high school with you. One of them gave the police your mama's address, described what they found you with. Now, you're not there. How did they describe what you were found with 3 hours later, what you had on? They lying. See, I know dude couldn't have seen me. He was over there lighting up a cigarette standing next to the lamp pole, and I was behind the dumpster. Wait a minute, how you gonna know that if you weren't there? Well, you know, I wasn't there because he couldn't see me, man. He lying about seeing me. But you weren't there. Nah, man, you know, I was there, but not there, man, because he couldn't have seen me.
Hey, he does a pretty good job of making fun of the hood dudes in the courtroom, acting like badasses.
Come on, man.
And then they go
down here trying to get my scrizzle, man.
Come on, man. You ain't seen nothing, man.
I lighted up a cigarette, bro.
Man, what's up, bro? You didn't see no how that trash
my shirt, man.
Man, that's funny. Hey, but the way he his reenactment, he's funny as hell, isn't he?
I know it. Well,
he's funny as hell.
It gets good though, because what he's doing is leading up to what he's going to talk about with Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's just telling it how it is. Let's listen to this OG.
Absolutely. I mean, he's an OG triple.
Yeah, for real.
But you saw him. Yeah, man, you lighting up a cigarette, man. But he's told his mom and everybody they wasn't even there. They putting the case on him. So you can't tell because there's attorney-client privilege. You have to stick with the story he says. And there's a whole lot of that. And the reality is, for the last 50 years in American justice, just a little more than 2.5% of the people that are in the penitentiaries got found guilty by a jury. 97+% pled guilty, and 84 to 87%, depending upon the circumstances, confessed. Now, there are a few that shouldn't be in there because they are actually innocent and somebody did put a case on them. Kamala Harris has a disproportionate number of people that have passed through her hands where she was in charge of the prosecution where that actually happened. So I find it odd that you have not just the occasional thing, not that your statistical rarity, but you have a situation where there are a whole bunch of these instances. We had a woman that was the district attorney here in Memphis, where the state Supreme Court, Harvard Law Review, Yale Law Review, Stanford Law Review declared her to be the most corrupt attorney general in the United States of America because she personally had more complaints and findings of prosecutorial misconduct against her as an individual than any of the DA's offices in the rest of the country had collectively over the same period of time. You know.
Most corrupt.
Most corrupt, he said.
Most corrupt.
Yeah, and he's the judge, so he's been in and out of all those court.
He's reputable. He has a good reputation.
Yeah, not to mention, you can just tell what he says is just on point with what he's saying. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So she was one of the worst, and that's what a lot. Well, you know that has been coming up, but they're trying to cover all that up.
Oh, they're trying to cover it up for real.
Yeah, they're trying to cover that up. But he's telling how it is. That's why this is important. All right, let's roll it on.
All right, let's keep rolling. It's a long video.
So I mean, you've got a situation where when it's a rarity, but you've got a lot of them dumped in your lap, something's wrong with you and there is a problem. And I am aware of some very bad miscarriages of justice. For example, I got the youngest person in the world on death row off, got a stay of execution 23 minutes before they were going to execute him. He was 15 years and 2 weeks old on the date of his execution, scheduled execution. He's supposed to have killed 3 people, 13 years old. One of them was supposed to be the grandson of the sheriff of the county in question, and 2 of them were supposed to be his aunts. But then again, the sheriff's wife turned up dead on a set of railroad tracks for a few weeks before that, and the sheriff said this wasn't his son, who was married to the mama of one of the childhood victims of the childhood classmates of the 13-year-old defendant, because that wasn't his kid, and she turned up dead on some railroad tracks. And the mother was in jail doing 25 years. She got some slack because her husband gave the information that got a DC-8 confiscated with 9 tons of marijuana on board and 8 tons of cocaine on board. So there was $2.75 million of cash that was photographed on the crime scene that disappeared between West Memphis, Arkansas, and the crime lab in Little Rock. Nobody knows what happened to the $2+ million. A cab driver down the street had dated one of the older ladies, and he turned up dead. So, you know, you're trying to deal with a 13-year-old kid and put all this on him. And the murder weapon, which was a knife that was covered with blood, had several identifiable prints that weren't his. You know, wow, we whoopee. So you get all kinds of things that go on. So sometimes it's real, sometimes it's not. But the public is gullible. And the other point is this. When they started going to a 24/7 news format, you wound up with 1988, CNN was about to go bankrupt. It was almost throwing in the towel by 1990, but they had the Gulf War. Then they became very relevant, and everybody around the world was watching CNN because a cruise missile just flew by the 7th floor hotel room, made a sharp right bank at the end of the block, and then you could see the target flash, boom, where the explosion went off. And then what happened is a lot of people started going to 24/7, and there's not enough real news, so they started inventing news, talking heads looking at a burning cabin and saying, "What do you think happened, George?" "I don't know, Al." "Well, maybe, Al, what happened, the suspect was caught inside." "I don't know, George, that's a possibility. But maybe did somebody tell on him or something? I don't know." So you 45 minutes, you're looking at the same burning cabin that they're looking at, and they're speculating. And then they got the bright idea when they got cell phones, they pick up on each and every incident of wrongdoing that in years past would have been ignored. And then sometimes to get it in perspective, try this. Just get your calculating function up on your cell phone and divide 1 by 360 million and see what percentage it is. You get a whole bunch of zeros after the decimal before you get to a number. So what they're doing is taking statistical improbabilities and they're making it look like it is the rule. Now, it's bad enough even when it is a small thing, but you have to understand a lot of what's happening is that the public is being hyped because they want commercial success in selling the commercial ad spots, and they need people to view, so they have a viewing audience. Now, we get a lot of hype, and news is not what it used to be.
Yeah, and speaking of death row, right? Have you heard about how Kamala, she blocked evidence that could free an innocent man from death row? You heard about that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's got a very high number of people that are in that situation. As I was alluding to earlier, if it's one occasion, okay, fine. Statistically, most DAs are not going to have that happen. And if it's a decent elected DA who is not one of these career prosecutors, it's going to trouble him. When you have somebody that has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 10, 15, 16 instances that happen under their watch, something's wrong with what that person is doing. So I find it interesting.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This goes right back to, they're talking about all the corruption and stuff, and he's really telling what happens in the courtroom. Remember, like just a little bit ago, he was talking about how this happens and that happens, and the one guy. So now, he's talking about some of these people getting hammered by her, getting put in longer and longer.
Absolutely.
And it's probably because there's some kind of thing where they're making money off to keep people being in there.
Absolutely.
And she might be involved with it or something. We don't know that for a fact, but that's what it leads to be.
And she's trying to use that now as saying she's tough on crime.
Yeah.
That's what she's running with.
Yep.
Like, as a prosecutor, I was tough on crime. No, you just locked a bunch of innocent people up and had a bunch of misconduct.
Well, remember she said that she was locking up all those gangbangers and stuff, but remember she's been through the tunnels? Okay, so you knew the tunnels were there. Why didn't you close them up? Why didn't you get them shut up? You know why? Because there's too much corruption there. There's no way. You think those people are going to let her shut that down? No, they're not.
She'll end up dead.
Yeah, so it's so corrupt, man.
That Kamala is sitting there doing what she did when they had the George Floyd riots. She's raising bond for the people to get out of jail so they can get right back out, get put back in. Whereas when she was a prosecutor, that was the exact opposite of what she was up to at the time. So which one is the real deal? See, I put, this system is crazy in the realities. I walked into a place to get a replacement jacuzzi for my house. The white guy that is the general manager runs up, and he's just gushing over me. He's like 60-something. And he knocks $5,000 off the price of the jacuzzi. Yeah, let me go buy this. Then I find out I gave him 12 years in the penitentiary for a drug case. But I talked to him about what he was doing. I just said, we're going to turn the record off. Let's talk. So you don't need to be in here, and you pled out to this 12 years. I frankly think you shouldn't need to gone to trial, but I know you got some other things. Now, somebody's going to kill you. He said, if you hadn't had that talk with me 30 years ago, I never would have, got this. Or people, black, white, brown, red, yellow, walk up to me in Memphis and say, Judge, you remember me? No. Well, you gave me some time. Did I give you enough, son? Yeah, but it's that thing about manhood that straightened me up. Now I got 7 grandchildren and 3 children, and all of them are doing well, been married for 28 years. Thank you. Hey, okay. You see, it's like, what are you doing? It's not so much that you're doing something to somebody. It's just what you do is perceived to have a purpose, and what did you do with it? Did you just sit there and you a vicious somebody that's trying to throw everybody in jail, or are you treating it like you're the village chieftain and you have to maintain law and order in your village, but meanwhile correct it and do something about it? See, prosecutors have an opportunity to do a great number of things to stop crime besides putting people in jail. So do criminal court judges. Some people badmouth it and call it social engineering, but sometimes that can be a positive process. Get people jobs, get them to thinking like men and women instead of helpless pawns, so they look at what's bad as an opportunity to become heroic by overcoming the adversity. See, you can work with people to set up things that will train them for jobs, that will get them out of this mess, get them set up with counseling. You can come up with things like I used to do, and sometimes I'd have a prosecutor that would go along with it, said, okay, this is a closed case. Tell you what the court's going to do. It's going to reserve ruling on this trial. Since it's a bench trial, there's no jury. The court will reset this for 8 months. And if you get through the following programs, which will require the so-and-so and so-and-so, when you come back in here, the court's going to render a not guilty verdict. Now, that understood by everybody? Well, Your Honor, we think under the circumstances that's okay. Or you get a situation where you have, this happened at Millington Naval Air Base. You have a sailor, a chief petty officer, and you got a gunny sergeant who is a Marine. The chief stabs the gunnery sergeant to death is over a woman. So they didn't want this to go to a jury trial because they wanted to say, we need somebody who will apply the law and bring common sense, and you can't always count on what a jury is going to do. So it's bench trial. So the father of the victim was there, and I found the defendant not guilty. Well, the father stood up and advanced toward the defendant, and I high-signed the bailiffs. I thought there was going to be an incident. He stuck his hand out. He said, I told the stupid SOB somebody was going to kill him if he didn't stop this shit. No hard feelings. You did what you had to do. Now, see, that's something that people did not get before when it was in the newspapers, is all of this mess. Or I've had cases that went to trial in front of a jury, and the newspapers are in there and the family's in there and they want blood and they want somebody to go get the chair and all of this and the rest. And you've had a 2-week-long trial and the jury has a question. All right, bring everybody back in. Mr. Williams, would you see to it that the foreman reduces this to writing? You get the question. You keep a straight face and you poll the jury. Is this your question, sir? So and so and so, ma'am, blah, 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 blah. All right, the court will now publish the jury's question. Your Honor, if we think the victim deserved to die, do we have to convict the defendant? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please retire to the jury room and refer to your written instructions contained in trial jacket number so on, and continue your deliberations and return such verdict as truth and justice dictate if you are able to do so without violence to your individual consciences. Thank you. Mr. Williams, please escort the jury back to the jury room. Now, everybody wants to see this guy on a fast track to the electric chair, and the jury just said they agree that the victim deserved killing. So there's a lot of that goes on that's not necessarily what the jury hypes it up to be. Had a situation one time, the jury was all upset about this horrible rape. The testimony is it occurred in the back seat of a convertible. All right? There was a gun, but the gun was in the victim's purse. The victim said she was worried about being pregnant, so she stopped, got up off of him. She was on top, stopped the rape, climbed over the side of the car, walked 30 yards to her car, took her keys, opened her passenger door, got 2 rubbers or prophylactics out of the glove compartment, locked her car, came back, climbed back into the rear of the car, put a prophylactic on the dude and climbed back on so the rape could continue.
Yeah.
And she's got the gun in her purse. Like, yeah, really? Jury didn't stay out long to acquit before they acquitted the guy, but I mean, it was one of these things that the papers were playing off as a real horrible incident. So what do you say about that kind of thing? See, these are the realities of the real world, and it's not necessarily playing into the entertainment value that news often has for the public these days.
Forget about it.
All right.
Listen, that was, I know it was probably a little slow getting through that last part, but he talks about a lot of realities. And the thing about it is,
exactly,
the reason we started Forget About It is for that same reason.
Exactly.
Because we watch this stuff and we're like, do you see how they're chopping this up to make Trump look this way, or even other people, not even just Trump, just anybody?
Oh, they do it to a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
they're
famous, non-famous.
They're experts at it. Absolute experts
of destroying people's lives, using humans for a way to benefit.
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, the way he tells stories though, it cracks me up, man. He's real, man. He really lays it down, doesn't he?
I want to bring this up again because too much of the video went on and people may have forgot, but you heard what he said. Trump helped African-American people start businesses, then completely wrote the debt off. Didn't even make them pay it back.
Right. Didn't even make them pay it back. Just he said, that's your gift.
That's it. That's a gift.
Yep.
And he talks about how great of a Trump person he was, how good of a person he was, and how he dated an African-American woman before.
That's what he was talking about. He said before Melania.
Yeah, his daughter.
His daughter. But it's all right.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. Before Melania, he had women of different races. Yeah. And I've seen plenty of pictures of him too on red carpets, all sorts of. The whole thing is bullshit, man. I'm actually tired of hearing about it. They've been saying this stuff forever. You know, actually, they didn't start saying it until he came down that escalator. I will say that. But all these people, we love Trump. He writes us checks for our campaigns. Now that he is running and all that, now they all hate him. It's so stupid, man.
And trying to destroy a man who's trying to do good.
Right.
And American people really need to pay attention to that because a lot rides on this election.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows that Kamala Harris is, she sucks, guys. She sucks. You know she does. Because nobody liked her before she even ran anyway. Remember last year when she was running with Joe Biden, or not last year, 4 years ago when she was running with Joe Biden, she didn't even get like 1% approval rating. And all of a sudden she has done nothing with the border. She's letting all these people across. You guys already know. You can see all those videos.
Forget about it. TikTok, I actually posted a video of Joe when Kamala ran for president the last time, and he was having a debate with her. He destroyed her in it.
Yeah, because she's
look that video up. Look the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris debate up from years ago. Look it up and watch it. Yeah. And he tells a lot of truth. But we appreciate you guys out there. I know this was a little bit longer video than normal. Don't forget, like, share,
subscribe,
comment.
Notification bell. Turn the notification bell so our new videos pop up. And listen, I want to see it in the comments. What do you guys think about how Harris has locked people up for longer than normal? Absolutely. If she's involved in corruption and if she has done nothing at the border, what do you got to say? I mean, I need to read them because this is how we gauge. This is how we gauge what people really think. I'm tired of these polls, that poll.
That's what forget about
I want to hear from real people that chime in. You can be on either side. It doesn't matter. Absolutely. And I'm going to read and I want to see what's going on. What do you guys think? Do you think Kamala was involved in all that corruption or what?
Absolutely. So again, we're going to be giving those shirts away. So make sure when you share to social media that you take a pic. And you email it to forgetaboutitnews@gmail.com and put your first, last name, address, and email. And we'll be picking one female.
Remember what they got to do. They got to take a screenshot of them sharing it. You can just take it with your phone or whatever you want to. If you're sharing it on your PC or you can take a screenshot with your phone that you're sharing it or whatever.
Yeah, so you got to share this video, like it, and comment that you're sharing it, and tell us what you think in the comments. And send that email. And
it doesn't have to be just this video. It can be some of our other videos, right?
If they put absolutely. You can if you didn't like this video, but you like another video, you can like that video and just put in the comment, hey, this is the video I'm choosing. I'm subscribing and I'm gonna share this video.
So they'll email it and then it'll be right there in the download section of their screenshot.
And we'll
mail it off. We'll mail them off.
We're gonna decide on Monday who gets them. We'll make a video. We will put on our cast who's getting them, and we'll mail them out Tuesday next week.
Yep, we'll show you where they're going.
Absolutely. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Till tomorrow. Adios.